Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. So, computer's working pretty good, but I'm not so sure about YouTube. I don't seem to be seeing the whole chat, for instance, here. David Kent was responding to Shari, but yet I don't see Shari on here. So, every convo from before David is not here. I tried switching around and I tried reloading the screen, and I was clicking on content for a while and nothing was showing up. So, okay, looks like it is kicking in now anyways. Yeah, seriously, I'm like, nobody's here. Oh, no, wait. Okay, so I was clicking around on YouTube trying to even get this content to come up, because usually I go to content and then I click on live and then I get here, and like the screens were all blank for a while. So yeah, okay, I was a little worried because my computer seems fine, so I couldn't fix it if it's not on my end. All right, okay, looks okay then. All right, what is going on? So I don't know if you saw the thumbnail, but it is a rainbow again. I know I've had that as a thumbnail before, but there's a couple changes in rainbows that I've noticed the last week, and that one shows some of one of them. So I don't know if you remember, but maybe a year or two ago, they started saying that rainbows are actually circular, but you can't see the whole circle from the ground. And they started showing images. If you looked from an airplane down, they would show the whole circle and say, oh, that's what they really look like. But first, it was only from the plane looking like straight down, like into the clouds. So lately, this last week or two, I've been noticing that they're showing now like you're on top of a tall mountain, say, and you can see the whole circle. So the ability to see the whole circle is kind of morphing into making it a little easier. But there's also a couple other things I've seen is just even the regular ones now, sometimes you see them not just go down, but they go around. So like you're seeing 2/3 of a circle instead of just having the feet come straight down. And that was one of the ones that I put as the thumbnail. And interestingly, I was looking at Google Images earlier, and I found many examples of rainbows. But today, when I, like 3 hours later at the home computer, I tried Google Images with the exact same search term. And there's very few photos, and I even tried clicking on photos instead of just images. And most of them are still like these drawings and tacky stuff. But this one does show it here a little bit. Oh, that's weird, actually. Okay, here. So you can see that there's more of a circle here, but this one also has another thing that I have seen lately. It doesn't show it very well, but it's actually 3 of them. Okay, so there's like the main ones, this one, then there's the second one, and then the little bit of darkness, but there's also a third one in here. And this also kind of demonstrates another thing I saw this week is that when we first started seeing the double rainbows, they were always the same shape. Like this top one was always equidistant from the bottom one all the way around. But the last week or two, what I'm seeing is that one will be a little bit more flat and one will be a little bit more round, or the space in between is not exactly the same distance all the time. And that's one. And so then also, I have not seen yet this thing where there's 3 of them all in the same shape. So there's like 2 here, and then they're showing a faint one over here. So and it doesn't follow the shape of the other 2. And in fact, even the top one is a little more bulgy than the bottom one. So it doesn't follow the shape of the bottom one. Okay, so what is their story about this third one? Okay, this shows it a little better. They're calling this third one a reflection bow, which is, I don't know, there's the primary bow, the second bow, not secondary, second, and then a reflection bow, which is this thing. And so they're saying, let's see, primary, how does this happen? Double rainbow light reflects 2 times light off the bay water, passes through droplets again, aka reflection rainbow. So then theoretically this could only happen over water. So somebody had made in my comments that there's like an image with 8 rainbows, and that's that same image we had a long time ago. And then you look it up and it says, oh, it's photoshopped, and it's saying that only 3 were real. Now I'm pretty sure that originally when I checked it and it was photoshopped, they said only 2 were real, but now they're saying only 3 were real out of the 8. But I'm wondering if eventually all 8 will be not, real and not photoshopped. So, but this is the first time I saw like 3 of them in the same general, like on top of each other, just like that. Okay, so I guess this third one's going to be a reflection bow. And another thing that I saw this week out of rainbows is that used to be that, okay, first we got 2 of them, like the double ones, and then this space in between got darker. And so I started commenting like, hey, wait a minute, space in between is getting darker. Okay, but now the space under the bottom one, I guess the primary one, is getting much lighter. So it's almost like some kind of weird lens effect, like the light is being robbed from other areas and reflected into this area. So there's a whole bunch of changes. Also, we're seeing that now a lot of times this first rainbow is much brighter along with the inside reflection. So it's looking more and more like a creepy portal device or something. So those are all the things. See if I can find an example. So, of course, now it's funny because I had no problems finding these earlier. Open link in Newtown. So this shows, I believe this one will show how they don't parallel each other that well anymore. So I was wondering if it was going to turn out to be something like that sun dog around the sun, where it shows them, that one's not very good, where it shows like there's a whole weird lens and you could have this one and then all these different ones off the sun, which keeps changing. So I thought, well, maybe that's what they're going to say, is that there's some kind of, there's one. I've not seen this one. No, it's on Snopes. It looks a little fake. Let's see. Well, we'll just click on it and see if it's fake. All right, so that one's fake. Got it. Hadn't seen that one. Still trying to find. I might have to actually type it in. Yeah, look at that. There's almost no photos all of a sudden. It's just weird how different things, wait, I didn't want photos. Hold on. Let me just try it without the word photos. Nope, it's even worse. All right, let me try circular rainbow. Okay, so here is one. Now you can see there's a lot of them now that, like, I was just stumbling on them. For a full circle rainbow shines through thunderstorm, rainstorm captured on camera. So that one is a little lower. I think this one, there's definitely a few that are just from like standing on a mountain. Like this angle here is not high at all. I have a feeling these are going to get quite common too. For now it's rare, circular, but so what, this person's like on a big hill or something? Scottish photography for Nick Seidel loves the creative blah blah blah. Captured a full circle rainbow. Taking photos in the Scottish Highlands when the opportunity presented itself. Although in theory all rainbow optically are full circles, the true full circle phenomena I have been told is rarely seen. From the ground, this rainbow, although appearing closer than average, only looks like the usual half circle. Watching the feed from the drone. Okay, so it's just a drone now. The lower half was revealed. Okay, so he got this from the drone. It's kind of interesting because it really doesn't look fully circular. I don't know if it's maybe just the lens on the drone is not perfect, but it kind of looks like there's a point here and then it's a little egg-shaped. But other ones I've seen do look like full circles. All right, so trying to find, like, okay, here's another one. Rainbow that goes over the mountains there. This one is showing how it's getting lighter in between. I did find like a quad rainbow when I was searching last time. Let me just see if I can find that again. And supposedly it's legit from what I could tell. All right, we've had these double, like these repeating rainbows. Okay, I have not seen this one. South Australia, rare quad rainbow, photographed in the southeast. Okay, that's interesting. So we've had this one on where they just look kind of like reflecting mirror images, like light lessening and lessening. Have not. Okay, here, I think this one's going to be another one of those. Okay, this might be a double that has two reflection ones because there's like two here, and it is over water. How many are we going to get in the end? I really am feeling like we're going to eventually get to where that... Oh, here's a whole nother one that's similar. There's 4 on there. This is the one that we had on before that. If you look it up, it says that only 3 are real right now. We've had that one on. I'm sorry I didn't take down the name of the person who suggested that, but that is kind of an older one for us. Okay, so yes, multiple rainbow changes. I'm just trying to find one that really shows that the distances between the doubles are not equal anymore. See, I just typed rainbow in, but how many doubles are we finding now? Just by typing that in, there's many. And if you see, what is it? This one. We never used to see images like this where it actually shows the circle. Even in drawings, they did not exist. Now, when I was a kid, I used to see them draw it like this, and I'm like, well, that's not the angle because rainbows are more flat. And I always thought it was weird that they would draw them like, you know, more curved like that. Because I'm like, well, why do people keep drawing it all like stupid, you know, like this one when they're always flat? So I don't know. Did they come from another timeline? Is that like a foreshadowing of the future? But now I look back at that stuff and I'm like, see these super flat ones? That might be a fake image, actually. It looks pretty fake. This one, on the other hand, looks fairly real. These super flat ones, never had those before, but that's a little bit older Mandela. All right, so there we go for that one. I think that pretty much covers what I want to say about that. Yeah, a lot of people do remember the colors being reversed, but you know, now you have one of each because they're like inverted from each other. So when those double rainbows first came, the top rainbow was not only equidistant but from the bottom one, but the colors were the same. And then at some point they inverted, so now you have one that has purple above, and then the second one has purple below. So now you like each person from, I don't know, each timeline gets one that fits. Shari got sucked into another timeline. Yeah, she's not showing. That's weird. Maybe she's got some technical difficulties because I don't think she's ever disappeared before. I remember seeing a rectangle rainbow the other year. I have not seen one of those. That's interesting if you find that again. All right, I'm just going to stick it in here, but I don't think they exist yet. That would be a trip. You never know anymore, can't do you? Yeah, not seeing any photos. Rainbow cakes, but that's about it. Nope, not currently. I was just about to tell you guys something really important, but I guess I better not. I don't know what to say, except for now, of course, everybody wants to hear what it is. I was enjoying Reddit retcon, but now after Reddit appy drama, there's not really any posts. Yeah, you know, you're right. There's so many people who are using the appy. I actually usually access from a regular computer, so it doesn't affect me as much. But if those of you don't know that Reddit has basically almost banned access to its I don't know exactly. I'm not a computer person. I don't know exactly what an appy is, but it's like basically the internal. It's access to workings that allow second-party programs to operate. So, like for instance, there's an app for Reddit that's official from Reddit, and everybody hates it. So, if you want to look at your phone and watch Reddit, you'd have, you know, if it was only Reddit sourced appy then or app, then you'd have to use that crappy one. So third parties came and wrote much better apps, and everybody uses those, and almost nobody uses what Reddit supplies. Well, because they locked down all their data, and in order to access it, you have to pay this exorbitantly high fee that is absolutely insanely high. The only people who are going to be able to do that are like the government, which has all your money, or maybe some super wealthy people like, you know, Bezos or something would be able to afford to get that data. So all that third party stuff went away, and the Reddit part stuff sucks, and a lot of people are just mad at Reddit for the nth time for a whole bunch of from other stuff plus this now. And I think a lot of people just are sick of that. You know, they just don't want to use the crappy Reddit version. So yeah, there's been a lot of changes. And retconned is the only decent Mandela Effect sub I know of, because the main sub is all like naysayers. So yeah, you know, you're right. I haven't seen much going on over there. This is true. I don't think I really realized how bad it would be. So maybe it is good that a lot of people spend less time on Reddit. I mean, I would say retcon might be a valuable resource, but otherwise Reddit had too much power. So there's, you know, a lot of theories about why Reddit did this, and a big one is because you will see also that other services are all within the last few months doing similar things. For instance, Etsy, which is where I sell and my shop is located, has also locked down a lot of its internal data and cut off a lot of third-party access. They're not even, you can't even access it with money, as far as I know. Like, so there was a lot of nice third-party functionality that just shut down like a month or two ago, and people are not happy at all about that. And Twitter now is limiting, just recently I believe kicked in, limiting, I think it's 800 posts a day you can watch. Unless you pay for their thingy, then you get like some thousands or something. And it's probably the same thing. It is suspected very strongly that it's because of the AI research. So in order to program an AI, you need tons and tons and tons and tons of data of regular conversations and behavior of humans. And so the sources for that have been places like Reddit and Twitter. And I think it's ironic because I didn't think it was the case for Etsy, but for some reason they have shut it down. We don't really know why on Etsy, but are they just doing it to be on the safe side? Is there something we don't know? But it is very, very interesting that in the last few months, like, this has just gone wild. Now, I guess YouTube is not as good a source because there's less interaction, there's less regular conversation. Facebook is not as good because, again, a lot of that stuff is behind a privacy wall. You actually have to become a friend and be accepted before you can see a lot of it. So that is what's going on. Anyway, coming of the AIs. So, you know, if you look at Reddit, then who's going to be able to afford to get all that access would be very wealthy people. So it could be that they're like, okay, make your AIs, but you have to pay us a lot of money to get access to this. Who knew, like, people chatting online, social media would be suddenly so valuable? But I guess for training the AIs, it is valuable. I've seen time-lapse of rainbows moving over hills and it looks like they are walking. Huh. I don't know what you mean. You mean like it's going like this or something? I have not seen that. I'm going to have to check that out. Is Shari in the chat? I don't see her since the chat disappeared. Maybe she thought it was broken or something. Tube Taurus TV is a small YouTube channel I found. So, okay, blah, blah. Austin is in. So, I don't know. Maybe there is problems just with YouTube right now. Like I said, it was acting pretty glitchy. Have I seen the Jabiru stork? That name does sound familiar. Let me just take a little look-see at it. Yes, that guy with the ugly neck. That guy has been on. Especially ugly, ugly. This is interesting. Yeah, I think it was actually that image that was on right there. Now, this is interesting because I don't remember this red stuff on the neck. I remember it just being black down to here and then white. So that might be a little bit of an upgrade since last time I looked. It seems like they come in only like a little bit weird and then they just get weirder and weirder. Sparkle muffin spiders. Sparkle muffin spiders. I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen the peacock spiders. Sparkle muffin spiders. No, I don't think so. That they sound like they would be delicious, although I really doubt that. Okay, it looks like they are. Oh, weird. So what, is that a different one? Okay, looks like peacock spider is definitely upgraded to more styles since last time. Okay, so we had like that one. But now we have this. Is there, I'm not sure if that's real or what, but it looks like maybe a black and white one. We got an orange one over here. So yeah, I'm not real shocked those guys have spread. Let's see. Copycat versions. Moratus jactatus. Moratus jactatus. Why does that sound like, I don't know, a little bit questionable? Okay, colloquially named sparkle muffin is a genus of Moratus peacock spiders. So when the peacock one came out first, there was just the one. What, no images? All right. Wiki, you are letting me down. No images. We'll put the specific one in then. Okay, so it looks like it's like a peacock, but a bunch of lines. And sometimes a triangle, maybe, like that one over there has the triangle. Wouldn't be surprised if these continue altering. Oh, this is interesting too. So when they first came out, it was just the butt that was interesting, but it looks like we're getting like stripes on the legs now too. On like this one clearly has leg stripes, so the rest of the body is starting to become interesting. Is that even real? Well, I think that's a fake one. I think that's a felted one that somebody fell for. I'm pretty sure that's a felted one. Felted means that some artist made it out of felt. You know what's interesting also is that they're getting rather furry. So I remember the butt, but I don't remember this much fur around it. So it wasn't done. Like, again, there's the peacock one. Look at how furry that butt is. All right, so we got stripes here. Now we've got brown leg ends and a whole bunch of fur. It looks like there's some red down here on the body now. So this guy has not finished developing his final form. My son was calling me from Spain and I couldn't reject the call. Ah, so that's why Shari wasn't in. Yeah, family is important. So Shari, right when you disappeared, like the whole stream wasn't showing for me and apparently everybody else. Knickers cow. You know, cows and horses are getting so fuzzy. Like, I saw images of them and they're just furry, you know, like horses didn't used to have. Cows are so furry now. They used to just have that really short hair that you could barely see. Oh, I think this one. Okay. Man, it looks like it got even bigger than last time. This has been on Knickers the cow. It looks like it's even. So what did they say about it last time? Technically it's not a cow but a steer. Stands 6 feet 4 inches to his withers. My gosh, so it's taller than I am. It's just shy of the world record. Okay, so they're just saying it's big, I think. Steers are usually sold to processing plants at age of 2 or 3. They probably don't have the opportunity to grow to their full potential. You know, there's bullfighting. They get their full size then. I've definitely seen many ranches keep a steer for like breeding, and those are much older, and I've never seen any this big. So I'm not buying that one. I think they're just bigger now. They're certainly fuzzier. So I went away and the internet went with me. Yes, Shari, that is what happened. So when I came on here, it just had somebody responding to you. Like, okay, I forgot what they said. It's probably up here still. Let's see. Shari D. True. Yeah, so David Kent was saying true to you, and obviously you had said something and there was nothing. So that was weird. The whole chat got wiped. Yep. Maybe it's the secret government that was monitoring you made a little glitch. Just kidding. I really don't know if that's the case, but yeah, you're right. That cow did not have a name then. I think you are right, Shari. Good point. So we had that cow on before, but it didn't say the name of the cow. So I guess you could say, well, maybe the name is better known now or something, but still, that is interesting. What's up with the huge pythons eating alligators? Yeah, those things have been getting bigger and bigger for some time. And alligators have gotten bigger for me. And for a while, they were up to like 29 feet, and then they shrank down again. Still bigger than original. I'm not 100% sure what it is right now, but another Emmy that got a name is Dinosphere. Dinosphere. All right, let's check that out. I do not know what that is. At least I don't know that word, Dinosphere. Oh, that guy driving on the, okay. Yeah, it was just like some weird contraption. Now it has this fancy word. Okay. So there must be more of these. I have seen these the last few years, but I had never seen a name for them. So does this mean we're going to get these? Like, is this going to come into the current reality as some kind of more efficient system? You can just sit in one of these and drive around on the sidewalk or something. They can make them all rubbery, and if they don't go too fast, you shouldn't be able to damage too many people. All right, Chari's got another link in here. Yeah. Yep. I don't want to... That one might be copyrighted, so I'm not going to go too far with it. Did anyone hear about 4 people getting locked up for a year by NASA? Supposedly to be for future Mars missions. Now, I have heard of them doing, like, experiments where they have people in isolation for, like, 2 years at a time to see how the psychology and interaction would be, and if they, you know, choke each other to death or not, or if they could still work well, and what kind of people would do well, and what kind of problems would turn up. But I haven't heard of that, like these people were volunteers, so if they said at year 1, screw you, I want out, let me out right now, they would be allowed to go. So they weren't like locked up, they were involuntary isolation. Not involuntary, they were involuntary. It was voluntary. Yeah, well, my understanding is they look for certain personality types that are very easygoing and don't build up like anger, and that are pr- pretty careful about, you know, not pissing off others. And there's certain people that are kind of like that, and that is one of the character traits that they do look for, especially for this longer term stuff. But even for the shorter term stuff, you know, you don't want people going, I want to punch that guy. Retcon is mainly why I visited Reddit. Yeah, I don't know. I know that Facebook does have some mandelas. There's some groups on there. I don't know how. I know they were very active at one point. I don't know if they still are. All right, so what's going on here? All right, this one, I was actually talking to somebody on the Chit Chat group, and you know who you are, and I was just looking these Sphynx cats up. Now, I've had on before that I remember them as PHINX cat, but they are now PHYNX cats. Those are those hairless, previously gray, wrinkly cats, but when we were checking them out, I noticed that they are no longer all gray. They used to just be like this one, but without. So notice I just typed Sphynx cat in. I have done this before. So I remember them as all gray. Now you've got these coloration variations. So this one's been kind of tricky because they have said many times, okay, just because, like, for instance, my dog had different colored hair on different parts of her body. well, no, not the last one, the one before. So that would be his body. But his skin was all the same. So if you shaved him and some parts were lighter and some parts are darker, the skin would be just like pink all the way around, you know, flesh color. Okay. And so that was kind of the typical thing for most animals. But then they're like, oh, well, polar bears are actually black skin with white fur. Then it was, oh, it's actually see-through fur that just looks white, but it's a tube and blah, blah. So I just noticed now the Sphynx cats apparently, even though they don't have hair, they still have coloration variation as of now. And I don't think it was that long ago that I've had these on and there was none. So this is coloration variation in the skin. It's got dark, and I've noticed now that there's some that look very pink all over. Some are all pink, some are all gray, and a lot of them now are spotted. They were all the same color, gray, like that darkish gray, I don't know, bluish gray skin before. So now all of a sudden they're looking even more like blotchy, creepy cows. So somewhere in here there was even one. Some of them are looking especially scary and hideous. Don't remember any quite that bad looking before. Their ears are getting bigger. Imagine having that guy look at you right when you open your eyes. Seriously. Now, I can't quite tell. Does this guy have maybe a tiny bit of brown fur? But this spot definitely is just white skin. So now they've just got like, I mean, almost white skin under there. Very weird. And some of them are really light. So he's not albino. He has his normal, or she has her normal color eyes and everything. So Sphynx cats, they have definitely changed for me. Definitely. All right, so now you're seeing this like variation in the nose color here. This seems to be kind of popular now. Look at how big those ears are. They were not that big. These giant bat ears are insane. So now we're seeing kind of like the Siamese coloration showing up on some of them. That one has more of that white blotchy look. So it's interesting because some of them are looking like Siamese, but these are like, that's like a reverse Siamese. And I guess these are going to be the top end ones with these wrinkles. I've had that on before, but I mean, like, they just weren't that wrinkly when they first showed up. This wasn't the exact one, but this kind of shows it. So you can see now these, remember, these are hairless. There might be a few drops of hair up here, but this body now, this is like a light colored and a dark colored, and it's in the skin. So anyway, I'm like, no, that was not how Sphynxes were. I noticed Paraguay is now not bordering Uruguay. I don't think I really remember that one. I don't know that part of the world that well. I signed up for that. Seriously, I'm chill enough. Oh, to be in the lockdown. Like, well, I'm fine with voluntary lockdown. My cat is black, but if you shave him underneath, he is snow white color. That is a little weird. So mine is kind of a gray tabby, and then if you shave him, he is like flesh colored. I don't know, like lighter. He's not bluish. I don't think. We haven't had that much. I'm going to have to look. We haven't had large areas shaved on him, so. Some of the newer dog breeds are changing, especially their muzzles. You feel free to elaborate. Check out Ivory Hills, China. Okay, so for me, they had that like kind of a grayish skin, all of them. For me, for the Sphynxes, like this, maybe a hair lighter, but not like that. I'm assuming this is a location of Ivory Hills that we're going to, but we'll find out. Because I'm getting a bunch of plates, and I'm kind of thinking that's not what we're supposed to be. Okay, that's these hoodoos things. Yes. Oh, interesting here. Oh, I see, I see. Ivory Hills, China, real or fake? So, it didn't used to have all these hoodoos, which are these weird shaped things, before, but there are a number of places in the world that have ridiculous numbers of them. I have not seen an image like this. We found a viral picture of a beautiful place called Ivory Hills, China, but we don't believe it exists. Oh, it says it's generated by AI. For now, still interesting. Generated by, you know, that occurs to me that we would have a lot of like memes and stuff that would come out and then it would show up in reality. Now we have this AI generation tool that makes it even more realistic. Like this. Now they're saying it's AI, but that might be an excuse for better quality, you know, Photoshop. It's not Photoshop, it's AI, but will we have even faster drive of reality alteration now that we have a faster drive of fake image options? All right, so this Ivory Hills place appears to be, for now, fake. But I wouldn't be surprised if this goes viral and then something similar shows up. Well, maybe not that exact thing. Because that's kind of the pattern that we've been seeing. Looks like a dog with short hair. That's what gets me. As I just haven't seen. There's very few animals that really had the splotchy color in the skin. And now that I think about it, it's kind of been rare. Is it going to be more common now for the skin to match the fur? I believe Dalmatians were one that the skin would match the fur. Like the spots on the fur would match the spots in the skin. Guilin's Ivory Hills. All right, so what do we got? Guilin's Ivory Hills. Now, I do not know if AI can make video. So we do have a 3D image change here. There's not a lot of it. Let's see if there's any comments on here. No comments. Okay, there's YouTube. All right, let's look at Guilin, because if anything that is that cool, the wiki should at least mention it. The name means forest of sweet osmanthus, owing to the large number of fragrant sweet osmanthus trees. Popular tourist by water, by mountains, most lovely Guilin. There doesn't seem to be any mention of these weird hills. It is totally doable to make such a fake video. You just can't trust anything anymore. It could take some AI images and like cobble them together, and they can do a morph thing. You could add in that 3D effect. It's pretty darn short. So you'd pretty much, it looks like it's just moving. This image is slowly morphing left, and then you add this as the 3D part. But notice what you don't notice is that there doesn't, now granted these are far off, so you may not really expect to, but you don't notice any change in the orientation of any of these. They all are the same. Now, you know, that doesn't mean it's not real, but I'm pretty suspicious about this for now. There's a replica of Mount Rushmore in China. Why is there a replica of like everything in China? I think his name changed from penny bags to money bags. You know, it seemed like that there's just, the timelines come together or something, and then like 3 or 4 names are acceptable. And some people only remember one, and some people only remember the other. Last I checked, money bags and penny bags were both acceptable. I mean, you would think that the game itself would only have one name and everybody would use that. Yeah, I know what you mean, Shari. Fake for now, but yeah, I would not at all be surprised if something like that showed up. Or they'll say it's not actually fake, or some weird thing like that. Now, there's not Guilin's Ivory Hills. All right, let me take off the apostrophe S. But the other thing is, I would like to see, here's Guilin's Ivory Hills. There really should be like at least dozens, if not way more of them weird images. Because there would be so many people, even if it was kind of a new one, I would expect to see at least more than one image of these crazy looking things. So that's the same one we already looked at. And that's like way down the scroll. So, very suspicious. Related images, none. All right. Let's just do a YouTube real quick. This is interesting because, like you said, there's this weird 3D one. I do think it's fakeable, but this is kind of what I mean with it being a lot harder to, why am I on YouTube? Hills Mountains. I don't know why I picked YouTube when I want Google. That looks fairly real there. Yeah, I think for now, that's what we got. That it's fake. AI is really going to put a kink in things. Not to help train the AI or anything, but no wildlife or atmospheric subtlety. Yeah, it looks fake, but then again, what we've seen now is that stuff that looks fake is not always fake anymore. Salt Lake. I've definitely seen some other stuff that looked pretty fake and did not turn out to be fake. One of those dog breeds is the Borzoi. Nose got very long. Okay. This one's tricky because they're claiming that it's just been changes in breeding style. But again, the rate of change is kind of next level, and then you kind of see it slipping back into some of the older ones. So yeah, they're getting really hunched too. I don't remember being all hunched like that. It's interesting because my friend used to have one of these, and she also said that, you know, oh, the way they're breeding them, the head is really sloped back now. Okay. Let's see how they looked like in the old days, according to now. All right, is that an old Borzoi? Interesting. Okay. So this dog looks way more normal. God, the head is looking so tiny on some of these compared to the body. So they're just breeding them like bigger and longer. So here's maybe an older one. Still getting crazy, but compared to this, yeah, not sure what to think about that. In the old days, I just say, okay, we're breeding them really fastly strange, probably going to be health problems, but nah, I don't know. Okay, kids, make sure to sign your field trip waivers as we enter the Mandela zone. Yes, agreed. Remember listening to an interview with AI, it said it hated humans. So, you know, it's tricky because the AI is supposedly just modeling patterns off of human interaction. So, if it were to do that using, say, Reddit or social media, especially in the current era, the amount of hateful content is like next level. So, I mean, do we want to create an AI based off of humans without having the subtle side when is appropriate and when is not serious? I can only say that like modeling after human interaction could be the worst possible plan for it. And we don't, you know, humans are constantly being, especially in the current era online when only certain types really spend a lot of time online, and the more balanced people are not online that much and don't post that much, and in many ways have been driven off of social media because of the more toxic ones. So you basically have the more toxic people having a lot of time on their hands and uploading a lot of toxic material. Do we want to base an AI off of such high levels of toxic interaction? It seems like a recipe for disaster. It's like the worst part of humanity, and so often we see people just being very hypocritical and contradicting themselves at every minute, not caring. And a lot of those people, I like to think, actually could stop contradicting themselves, you know, if their mom was in the room or something. They know that some of what they're saying is just to like win the argument, even though it's not fair. But the AI would probably not have that same understanding to like which parts to take more seriously. Like when I say, oh, dude, you bum, I'm going to kill you. I don't mean I'm going to kill you. I just mean like something totally different. Even it could be quite friendly, yet, you know, sarcasm. Is it going to be able to understand sarcasm? Didn't we have a stone forest in America. We had the petrified forest, but the trees were all flopped over. So those are petrified wood. We do have one of these somewhere in America now. They were more pointy at the top last night, and they're the hoodoos is what they started calling these things. But I think the hoodoos are any of these weird pointy gray things that stick out. I think I had this one on very early, that it had been a small area and then it just became like acres and acres and acres. Nothing is showing. Okay, let's see. So let's try America, United States. Hoodoos, I believe, is what they call them these days. When they first showed up, they didn't have that name. Hoodoos. Not hoodies. Hoodoos. Okay. What the heck is that? Oh, I think it might have been, I remember gray ones. Sandstone hoodoos of Bryce Amphitheater. Okay, so we have red ones. I really do remember having some gray ones at some point. Maybe they started out looking like the Chinese ones and then colored over time. If you don't keep an eye on this stuff, that's what happens. So then you're like, oh, I thought they were only in China, but I must have got confused because they look similar. And then over time, they stopped looking similar. But yeah, we do still have them. I would be shocked if they went away, just because the strange stuff generally just grows. That's how the timeline is. It doesn't go away. It might switch around a few attributes, but overall it's definitely expanding. That's just the pattern we've seen anyway. Now I microwave my coffee with a spoon in it. I'm assuming it still makes lightning, right? If you put metal in there. I'm now able to microwave my meals that come in tinfoil containers without sparks. I tested this with tinfoil and metal spoons also, and there's only tiny heat spot. Really? Interesting. So even before, I would put I'd put a couple cups in there and the lightning started. I realized it had gold, like, I guess whatever they'd painted the trim design with had some gold in it. And so even though it was the world's thinnest, cheapest gold probably, it was making lightning. White stones. Yeah, I remember them being kind of grayish, but Is that where they filmed this Mars rover? You know, is the Earth real? Are these photos real? Is Mars real? Is the rover real? Or is it all just a simulation? So that's why I can't answer if that's where they filmed the Mars rover. I don't know. I can tell you that Mars used to look very red all the time, and then it got lighter and lighter. I had that on the show. And now half the time the sky is blue, so it's looking more Earth-like all the time. And now they say there's a bunch of water on it and everything. I got no sparks from the metal in the microwave. I demonstrated the tinfoil thing to my family, and they were all worried that then nothing happened, and the next day they act like it's always never been dangerous. Oh my gosh. Is it even a Mandela? Huh, let's see. Okay. Tinfoil in the microwave. I do remember, though, that even a tiny amount of gold paint would make for a crazy town. Can you put aluminum foil in the microwave? technically, yes, but it requires taking safety precautions. Metal is reflective, causing the radio waves to bounce off. But what about aluminum? It's thinner, which means it can be overwhelmed by the microwave currents and catch on fire. But if you follow certain safety precautions, you can put aluminum foil in the microwave. What? No, this was not the thing. Make sure the foil is smooth, not wrinkled. Use only new foil in the microwave. Fresh foil won't have any wrinkles, which reduces the risk of fire. So now they're just saying it could overheat and catch fire. There's no lightning? Keep 1 inch between the foil and the walls of the microwave and ceiling to ensure that this distance is maintained. Use smaller plates. Don't put aluminum cookware like pie plates, cake pans, and bread loaf tins in the microwave. It's unsafe and your food won't cook. The metal will reflect the waves rather than letting the food absorb it. Check for a microwave safe label. Cover only 1/4 of your food with foil to reduce the risk of fire and to thoroughly heat your food, because aluminum foil will reflect the radio waves. If you cover all of the food, it won't heat up. Huh. Yeah, that is different. So before even the tiniest amount, okay, can you put pudding gold trim in the microwave? Now what'll happen if there's tiny paint of gold? Can a microwave bowl with gold trim? Not safe to place gold trim dinnerware. Gold is metal. I want to hear if it gets hot or it gets lightning. Can start to give off tiny sparks. Those sparks can then jump from place to place within the trim and can quickly get out of control, leading to larger sparks and smoke. This process is known as arcing. Huh, that doesn't really sound like what would happen. I just saw like lightning. Some have gold trim manufactured in a certain way, usually by including a protective coating that makes them microwave safe. Since they're rare, the retailers generally make this well known. Huh. So what I thought was the thing was that there would be an electromagnetic field would like build up and follow the metal, and that was the problem. It does sound like the rules have changed a little bit on the metal in the microwave. Very interesting. General Sorrow's off. Thanks for coming. It's scary how fast some people get the update. Yeah, I know. You know, people who get the update get it in like 1 second. Literally, they look up to the sky like they're remembering really hard, but they look up to the sky and then they come down and you know, oh yes, now I remember. And you can't even talk about the alternate memory. They will completely ignore you. Like, be like, hello, remember how you said 1 minute ago? Hello. And they'll just stare at you like their brain is blank. It's like the entire, you know, maybe that's what it is. The other memory is so wiped out that they can't even remember even thinking it or talking about it. But yet, I mean, it's just the weirdest thing when they do that. Like, they won't even say, oh, I forgot. It's that memory is so gone, it's gone. It's not just changed, it's the old one is gone. As long as the trees don't bite, and if they bark, You see? Ah, I get it with the bark. So now we can microwave our tinfoil hats. Yep. Please try getting an air fryer. I do like air fryers for like steak. The only thing is if you put a bunch of spices and stuff, it flies all around in the air fryer. So you have to like lock it in butter or something to keep it from like, so like I'll take my steak and I'll put some Parmesan cheese and now there's Parmesan dust flying everywhere when that thing turns on. But yeah, it's actually one of the other reasons I like it is because in the summer it's really hot and you don't want to heat up the house. I'm not sure if it's more energy efficient than the oven. One would imagine because you're just doing one little area. I mean, it's not good if you have a giant roast, but that is an interesting thing because you can pretty much dispense with an oven for most things. You wouldn't be able to bake, I don't think, but for most regular cooking, you would not need an oven anymore. All right, so anyway, that's done. Got that. Oh, this one's interesting. So Great Wall of China, we have discussed this before, that it is got this, now it's not just one map. There's all these walls from all these different eras, and you can't see it from space anymore. Let me see if I can find that map up. But I did notice the other day we were talking about it for some kind of other conspiracy theory. And what I noticed is there's big sections of it that look like red brick now. Of course, now I can't find them. Hello? Better still be there. I'm going to be mad. Because this was like, when was it? Monday? Monday that I saw these. Okay, is that one of them? It is kind of one of them. There's a whole bunch of red brick on the Great Wall now. So, okay, first let's look at the map. So the Great Wall of China is now walls. There's walls all over, but for some reason they only called it one wall, but there's a whole bunch. Interesting, because each map shows different walls, but this has been on before, that this is the Great Wall of China. All of these are parts of the Great Wall of China, built during different eras, some in different conditions than others. They're no longer very cohesive as far as what they look like. But I had not actually seen any red brick in it until like Monday when I was looking. So there's now huge sections of the Great Wall that just don't even look Chinese. Wait, that is not one of them though. Is that one of them? No, we do not want Dreamtime. All right, now this is bugging me because I did check this. That doesn't look like it either. Quit it. I'm going to be mad if it's gone again. Maybe that was a temporary timeline. Okay, come on now. This is pretty impressive because I definitely find some that just look, first of all, I don't remember any parts of the Great Wall just looking like ordinary brick. Okay, so here we see it just looks like old school regular size bricks. They used to be like these big, chunky, like rocks, basically. And if I guess you could say maybe they were just mud brick, but they were big mud bricks. They weren't like these old school thingies. So that's one thing. Now, interestingly, now I cannot find an image that shows the very, very red bricks that I saw a whole ton of. Let me just go to Google because maybe that's part of the problem. Come on, go to Google. There. They were so red too. Okay, let's see. This is weird because it's like this should be red because I don't know what other color this would be. But they're weirdly like, instead of red, they're like brown now in this image. Maybe that was just a passing through timeline. These are fairly red. I'll make a new tab. Ah, all of these look so red. Ah, yeah. No, they don't. I'm like looking on my other screen to see if this screen is not showing red properly, but nope. The other screen's not showing it either. Oh, well, I feel trolled now. Oh, that's not very red either. That's the same one. Well, anyway, they still look different. That one is not a real image. One other thing I had kind of noticed this week is the outline of the giant chicken, which is China. Some time ago, we noticed that China looked like a chicken. And the head now is losing its chickeny self. So there's still a nice fluffy front portion and like a fluffy tail and a little foot. But the head now just doesn't look as like a chicken head as before. So, I mean, there's not it. So I think there's been more changes in geology structure for China. What about the Great Wall of India? Can it be seen from the firmament or, space? I don't think that one would either because it's not larger than China, so the Chinese one. Jolty is near you. Have you not seen a Cheshire moon before? So Cheshire moon showed up for me like a couple years ago. So I do know that recently there's been a new wave of people freaking out over it, but it's a little bit of an older Mandela for me. I was on Wall of China. I don't know how they used it. The other thing that's weird now is you can find really steep parts of the Great Wall of China. Like you're basically they go over these really high mountains now, and you're basically almost mountain climbing. So yes, they did used to say horses went over. I imagine now they'll say horses went over part of it, but there's no way some of this stuff, a monkey would have to work at it. Great Wall of China. Let me just write in steep. And that's one thing I saw on Monday also. So hopefully it's still there. See, like this. I don't think horses went on this. Not going to happen. I have never seen that kind of steep stuff before until Monday. I have Googled Great Wall of China many times and it just showed up on its own. Oh, here's one of the ones I saw. Ain't no horses going on this one. No way. And this is not tilted. That is how steep it is. So what is going on there? I don't know. I don't know. So one of the things that was surmised on the chit chat we were having that apparently some people are saying, and maybe it was like a raised protected road more than a wall, and it was just to keep like the attackers off of you. That is one current theory by some people. Now there's 118 Egyptian pyramids. That does sound like a lot, but we saw how many of them grow up just around the Great Pyramid and the other two that used to just be three. The black moon was a new one for me. Maybe it was for affirmative. The black moon. Are you talking about the new moon when there's no moon? That, or is there another? The black moon. Are we talking about that one day when you can't see the moon? Is that the black moon? Wait, what is this? Black moon of May. The black moon is the flip side of a blue moon. The second new moon in a single calendar month. Okay, I've never heard of the black moon before, ever. This just seems so ridiculous. The black moon is a rare occurrence, and this one occurred on May 19th. The black moon is either the second new moon in a single calendar month or the third new moon in a season of 4 new moons. All right, yes, I've never heard of the black moon. There's always something, isn't there? There's always a new color or something. All right, where am I here? Let me just delete all these. All right, well, for a brief timeline period, we did have very red breaks on the Great Wall of China, but they're maybe gone again. I don't know. Yeah, there was an image of some woman, and she was basically just like crawling like it was a mountain. I mean, I guess it would be doable, but you'd have to be reasonably fit. I don't think you'd have to be a mountain, like a mountaineer, but you would have to be quite fit. I would not want to have to do it when it was wet or icy. My brother-in-law got lost as we were visiting, somehow ended up on the other side of the wall. Well, there'd have to be some kind of break in the wall then. Otherwise, that's kind of magical. May 19th, we had the black moon. Okay, yes. The Great Wall of China used to be in better shape in my timeline, just like pyramids. It got so like, it's just weird now because some parts of it are still good, but now there's all these old crumbly parts. Each one looks different. They're saying that the regular one used to be crumbly, but it was being redone. Then some people are saying, oh, when they redid it, they didn't make it look exactly like the first one, and that's why it looks weird, or certain things aren't logical because they just slapped it together. And there's like 100 stories that we're phasing through all the time, so it makes me a little cray-cray. I have no idea how he managed to get to the other side of the wall. That's kind of weird, actually. I mean, if there's no break in the wall, how could you? I mean, unless you're at some part that it's really low and he climbed over, but I'm sure he would remember having done that. That's actually pretty bizarre. So how did you get him back over to your side then? If he got on the wrong side. China had obliterated Mongolia in medieval period and early modern. Yeah, so China for me had taken over Mongolia quite some time ago, and it was like there was still Mongolians, but like everything you hear, like a lot of the stuff you hear about the Uyghurs now, that they're exploiting them and eradicating their culture, that's what they used to say about Mongolians. And there were no Uyghurs, there were no Muslims, it was the Mongolians that they did this. But now they're doing it to these Uyghurs. So it's just weird because Mongolia is no longer under control of China, but then a whole new group kind of like slipped into that slot, and it's now the Uyghurs. All right, so got that one. Okay, this one has got me laughing so hard. Okay. So sea otters, first when they showed up for me, they just floated on their back and they were almost extinct and they were destined for extinction. And then next thing you hear, oh, preservation techniques have worked and they're like breeding rapidly and they're starting to recover. And Then you started seeing them like holding their babies on their stomach. And then they started all this story about like, first they said they were real nimble fingered because they had to like open up clams and stuff. Then they said, oh, they use rocks to open up clams. That's how nimble fingered they are. And then they said, oh, they just like rocks and they hold them like pets and they have like piles of rocks and they love just. So that was the latest thing. And then you see more and more images of like more and more rocks. And this guy has like 8 beautiful round rocks. And this guy has 10 rocks and some ice cubes. And he's like, oh, mine, rocks. Like, you know, and now, couple things. But the most ironic one is apparently sea otters have pockets now. They have pockets in their fur. They have like, they literally can stick stuff in their pocket and then take it back out. And you'll see images where they'll have stuff and they'll just be like bloop and it's gone. And so there's like these baggy pockets of loose skin. They must be really baggy. But I haven't really seen a good like clarification of how exactly it works. But they'll definitely have like clams and then they'll be like bloop. They'll stick it in the pockets. Use these pockets to store food it has gathered. So I've also seen like hamsters have cheek pockets, right? But they didn't used to be able to put like 500 seeds in there. Now they can put like 500 seeds and they're like the size of a basketball of seeds. And so now I guess that these otters now have something like that. Underneath the guard hair is another layer of furs. That's right. Okay, blah, blah. So they don't talk a lot about the pockets, but you can definitely look at images where they'll just slide it into the pockets. Let's see. Let me see if this is one of them. I didn't have anything saved. Otter pockets. See, 10 years ago. So supposedly they've always had pockets. This is kind of the thing that got me because I'm like, what? See, otters have pockets in their skin where they keep food and rocks. So these must be really effective pockets because they can just leave the rocks in there. So I don't know, like, can they still go like this and the stuff doesn't come out? So they'll leave rocks in there. In case they run into a shell, they'll just stick their little putty paws into their pocket and they're ready to roll. All right, here. This one, hopefully, will be demonstrating the pockets.
A little.
Quit that. All right, I'm just going to, like, zoom forward.
They have a secret place that they can stash things.
All right, don't want to hear no talking. I just want to see that guy sticking it in his pocket. Right, is he eating it? He's eating it there. There it was. He stuck it in the pocket. Eaten and then in it and then back out of the pocket. Into the pocket. It literally is like a pocket right here around the waist. It just goes blip. Then pulls it back out. Yeah, so there you go. They have pockets and they're very effective pockets. Like, very effective. I did the paper holds the water in the glass thing. Like, I think it was a few years ago that people were flipping out about that. And yes, it does work. You can take like a glass of water. This isn't a glass of water, but you can take a glass of water, lay a paper over it, and flip it, and it'll stay. I think it's, as I mentioned before, I believe it's because the water surface tension is a lot stronger. Now that you mentioned water, I'm a little thirsty. Each month is a different parent moon, apparently. Yep. Strawberry moon, blah, blah, blah. I thought we had all of them named, but now they're like, oh, now it's not just moons, it's new moons. New moons are getting names. I mean, what else is going to get names? We've got all the moons, the super moons, all the full moons got names, and now we're starting in on other stuff. Sea otters got one hand in their pockets. Yep. I remember once in a blue moon was just a saying. Yeah, it is interesting because now there are blue moons. You got to think, okay, so was it always planned that there would be a blue moon, or did the saying make the blue moon appear? How does that work? All right. I think I had on before that we have like freshwater 6-foot long otters now. Or was that beavers? Maybe it was beavers, but there are now these. There used to just be otters, and I did notice, otters were otters, but now they're calling them sea otters. I'm like, the minute I see another word slap on, I have now figured out that that means that there's more varieties. So it used to just be otters were otters, and that was enough to say they're otters. But if you have to say sea otters, that means that there's some other one that ain't sea otters anymore. So now there are like 6-foot long, like how many otters are there? Let's look. Otter wiki. I think it was the giant otter. I might have had that on, but I'm thinking it was my badgers. Everything's gotten supersized. Little miniatures and super versions. Otters. Species. All right, here's all the species now. We have Eurasian, hairy-nosed, Eurasian and hairy-nosed Eurasian, spotted-necked otter. Oh, we're going to get some spots. Smooth-coated, North American river otter, southern river otter, neotropical otter, marine otter, giant otter. I think that one was the river one. African clawless otter, Asian small-clawed otter, Congo clawless otter, and sea otter. So originally for me, there was just sea otter, I believe. There was one that was in the sea, and that was it. And that was the one that was almost extinct. Now when I really look back on it, it was a long time ago. I don't actually really remember knowing about otters before they told me that they were almost extinct. So again, I think that now looking back on it is a clue that they showed up then. It was a long time ago, but it was in my lifetime. Now every freaking animal is using something as a tool. Yep, I know. Even spiders and stuff used to be humans, and then they made a big stink because great apes used a tool. Woo! Yeah, now it's just old hat. All right, so we got otters. Like 20 minutes. Maybe I can get some of these done. Bleeding Kansas. So Americans, do you remember like a bunch of fighting before the Civil War? So if you're in Kansas, apparently there was something called Bleeding Kansas. I'm sure I never learned about that. 5 years of fighting in Kansas before the official start of the Civil War. Bleeding Kansas describes a period of repeated outbreaks of violent guerrilla warfare between pro-slavery and anti-slavery forces following the creation of the new territory of Kansas in 1854. In all, some 55 people were killed. Doesn't seem like much now, does it? The struggle intensified the ongoing debate over the future of slavery in the United States. So 5 years of bloody guerrilla warfare. Anyway, never heard Bleeding Kansas. Okay, that was mine. Yes. All right. This one is actually a one from a number of weeks ago. And this was on Retconned. And this was by user think it in existence. That is the username. So go find, she was looking at where's Waldo and noticed something little different. Okay, so where's Waldo? What seems different on this where's Waldo? Anybody? I'll leave that to you while I continue on with another one that is very interesting. And this one was also by a retcon person a couple of weeks ago. Username throwaway that ends with the YY1703. So throwaway 1703. This one is weird because it has to do with Mandela, like the dude. And of all of the many, many times that we have researched Mandela and remembered him dying in prison, okay, and there was even, for a while, I had access to some old story that apparently there was rumor in Africa in that time when we all remember him dying. There was a big rumor that went around that he had died, and then they said, oh, no, that's just a false rumor. But apparently now there is this conspiracy theory that Mandela did die and was replaced by like a double. I don't know, like the timeline currently loves this replacement theories. And I know I've mentioned before that I thought it might have been driven by the fact that people do look different now, like their faces change. But that's a Mandela, because I'm pretty sure I'm still me, but I see that my face has changed. Everybody's faces change because the morphology of the skull has changed. But so this conspiracy theory is that he did die and he was replaced by Gibson Makhanda. And then Gibson Makhanda was used like as the replacement. All right, so I don't know, like I look at it and I don't really see any really obvious evidence that this is legit, but let's see if I can find. Oh, and it's actually a conspiracy theory of South Africans, it seems also. So yeah, the user throwaway 1703 found this a couple weeks ago. An individual some South Africans believe was the imposter Nelson Mandela, who took his place after Mandela's death. Oh, interesting. Now it says that he died in a protest against apartheid in South Africa. Now, when I was reading it, it said he died in prison and was replaced by this other dude. Okay, another group of people thought the real Nelson Mandela died when incarcerated on Robben Island in the 1980s. In the 1980s would not be right for me. He would have died in the 90s for my timeline. Definitely not in the 80s. This is interesting. So that has him dying earlier. You know, I hadn't really thought of it, but they just said died in prison, and I assumed it would match up when I remember him dying, but South Africans think that Gibson Makhanda was Nelson Mandela's clone, and that he was the one who negotiated the new age of South Africans' transition from apartheid to full democracy, in which anyone of any color can run in a general election. All right, so here they're saying clone, but here they're saying look-alike. Boy, was he... Supposedly Mandela was 67 in the 80s, so he would have been 77. You know, it seems pretty old, but was he really supposed to be 77 when he got out of prison? Huh. Now here they're talking about the Mandela Effect. Nelson's alternate in the Mandela Effect. I don't think they're using the term accurately. So why do they have a name for this guy? Like, why did they call him Gibson Makhanda? Because he would have always just been Nelson Mandela, right? I mean, if they have a clone, or you wouldn't really know. Like, one thing I haven't found is why they think his name is Gibson Makhanda. Like, where did they get that name from? Oh, and here they are saying Mandela was murdered in prison. I don't know. And somehow they're trying to squeeze in Mandela Effect. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I don't remember anything about this Gibson Makhanda. Can anybody confirm there are blue starfish in nature? I believe that those have been around a long time for me, blue starfish. All right, you remember, okay, so somebody doesn't remember Waldo's hair. Somehow the blue jeans are wrong. Is it weird that every good guy in history is now a villain? Mother Teresa was a little people trafficker. Mandela was a Mason. Or he was a Knight of Malta. Yeah, and there's a lot worse stuff that he... And his wife also. There's a lot of weird stuff. You know, I'm not thinking of it. Mandela must have been died at least a few months for me. Because I do remember that Winnie won the presidency. And other people have said it, too. That they remember Winnie being elected president. Anyways, yes, I have definitely commented that all of the old good people icons are now. All right, so you have a good point because I don't remember the hat. The hair looks weird. But it was actually the cane that they were pointing on. I do think the shirt is okay. Let me look at a few more of these. But he doesn't always have it, but he has it a lot. And people do not... I do not remember the cane. I do agree that the blue jeans, I was kind of looking at those. The hair also, I don't remember a giant, like, comb over. But let me see if they're all like that. He's got the hair comb over look now. Yeah. Does he have a hat on? And you know, I don't remember that hat. All right. That's one thing. I do not remember the hat and the comb over. Does he always have blue jeans? I don't remember the blue jeans, but I hesitate to really say for sure just because I don't usually see the lower body. Yeah, it does look like he has that funky comb over and everything. Okay, so maybe there's more than one change. But yes, it is the cane that they were targeting on. I was hesitant to say on the blue jeans because, like I said, I don't see the bottom half that much. Sometimes I have a thing, I'm like, I don't know about that, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to shut up. And then somebody else does the same exact one. I'm like, okay, it's not just me. My sister remembers Mandela dying in prison and his wife as president. Yes, Winnie became president. Definitely, for me. The pocket is missing the straight seam. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. I do remember that. It was just a cut. It was a cut. It didn't have like this curve shape. You're right. It was just like... Good point. Yes, it was a diagonal slice. His hair is flamer. Yeah, you're right. The Benny is a little different. I'm not sure what a Benny is. Is that hat? A big pimp cane. And you know, Waldo is not old, so it's extra weird to have a cane. Then some people always remembered it, and they said they'd look for the cane when they were looking for Waldo, but there were no easy ones. There was no cane to make it easy, ever, for me. Oh, look at the pants from the front. They look, oh, that looks even more weird. Like, you would remember that. Look at the pants from the front. There's no way that was the pants from the front. That looks ridiculous. And like, young people don't usually carry canes, so that's just weird. Okay, so his pants got weird. Look, yeah. Who chose to draw that? Is, you can see the, no, that ain't right, dudes. Sorry. Did he sometimes carry a man purse? I do not remember ever seeing a man purse. Yeah, Waldo has changed. He's been cloned and replaced by this other pervy, weird pants Waldo that needs a cane. The beanie has changed. Yeah, that's right. So it looks like a Christmas beanie. It used to be more like, that's right. It used to be more on the center. Like, what's up with that? Who wears a beanie on the side of their head anyway? Actually, it is pretty bizarre. An old effect was the stop sign change. Yes, that was on early on. It had been discussed a number of times. White border never existed, just red with white letters. Yes, yes, that has been on. That's the American USA stop sign. Yeah, that was an older Mandela, and I think for a lot of people it changed quite some time before they knew about the Mandela, so it was like harder to pin down for a lot of people. But there were a few people who suddenly showed up and said, it just changed for me, but the majority, it had changed quite some time ago. Okay, got that. I think there's only one left. I never actually hunted this one up, but it was by Ghosty333 who came up with this one. And let's see. I should have double checked it, but I didn't know I was going to get to it, frankly. Mosquitoes. This one has weird connotations, assuming, yeah. So it's not really a Mandela, but it's weird. And because I don't think this info has been known long, but mosquitoes sniff out hosts infected with certain viruses. So I would kind of assume then that viruses are attempting to travel, and so they would cause you to attract mosquitoes, but that's pretty impressive that a virus would somehow alter your scent to attract mosquitoes. So it says Dengue and Zika virus altered the microbiome in both mice and humans to attract mosquitoes and spread to new hosts. So like viruses are a lot smarter in this timeline. Yes, we smell like freshly baked dinner for the skeeters when we have a virus. Discovery was announced Wednesday in the journal Cell, which was July 1, 2022. So, yeah, good find, Ghosty333. Zika belongs to the same family of viruses as dengue and is transmitted by the same kind of mosquitoes. So, yeah, pretty weird. And I think I'm almost done. Unless anybody else has anything to add, we've only got minutes left. So yeah, let's see. Stop sign. Stop sign. The other one was that U-turn sign. People don't remember. Yeah, so people remember the stop sign being solid without the white edges. Definitely. All right, let's find vintage stop sign. Can you find any old ones from the 70s? No. That one almost looks like it, but when you get up close, you can see it does have the white edge. But yes, I do remember the all black stop sign, or all solid stop signs. And you know, really thinking about this, I am not sure if I've ever covered this, because I am thinking of the U-turn signs. The U-turn signs used to be more like one. Okay, so the one-way signs, this is getting confusing. People remember the one-way signs as inverted. So it says black arrow on a white sign with white writing. So they remembered the one-way signs as inverted. That was an older Mandela, for sure. They used to be on the white background. I am not sure if I actually ever covered this weird stop sign one. I really don't remember any of these freaking yellow ones. That's bizarre, actually. I have never seen a yellow stop sign. So sorry, it looks, the words are reversed because oh no, for you, like half of these would be reversed. Because my unit that, the OBS will reverse all images. Okay, so yeah, there is a lot of these yellow ones. I have never, ever, ever seen a yellow stop sign or anything that wasn't like red and white. All right, so U-turn sign. Yeah, I don't know. You know, you might be right that might be one that wasn't, that I didn't cover ever. See if I can find anything. So Mandela's change with time, and it may be that the stop sign one never was covered that I recall. Dang it, what was it about the U-turn sign? Now it's bugging me. I actually can't remember. Because I thought it was that some people remembered a black and white U-turn sign, and that was the Mandela. But now I'm looking, and there are black and white U-turn signs, apparently. Oh, it was this triangle one. They remembered it being black and white, and I'm not really seeing a triangle one that's black and white. In fact, even the shape of these ones look weird. I don't know if it's because another state, but yeah, so people remembered a triangle black and white U-turn sign, and that was a Mandela. Let's see, U-turn sign, Mandela Effect. Let's see if it still exists. I've got about like 1 minute, so. Oh, it may not be in this timeline. Maybe it's the stop sign one in this timeline. Let's just see if stop sign Mandela Effect is here. Okay, there is the one. Oh, okay. So there is the other one where people remember the green at the top. I do remember the green at the top. And then one day it wasn't, and I was like, oh, I must be crazy. What's up with stop signs? Now, I'm pretty sure that's going to say it's the green at the top for the 3-color one. That was also a Mandela. Oh, deleted. Oh, well. I don't think I have time to chase it all down. It is interesting to go back on some of the old ones, because sometimes they're gone. They're not how you remember. They've flip-flopped. All right, no yellow stop sign for you. Otter pockets. Otter pockets. Yeah, I don't know. Otter pops and otter pockets. How did they figure out that mosquitoes can do this? Yeah, actually, what did they like infect people and then see which ones the mosquitoes like? I'd have to go and look. I don't remember stop sign being octagon. It was round. Definitely octagon for the United States. I don't know about you guys. And I don't know about your timeline, of course, but for me, that's how it was. All right, Grest unconformity. I don't know. Did I look up Grest unconformity? I think there was another unconformity I might have looked up. All right, I'm going to say bye, though, because I don't really have time, but I've got it on the search engine. So it is time for me to go. You know the drill. Think good thoughts, everybody. Thank you all for coming. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.